To bring in Senior Fellow at the Center for Security Policy, Andrei Illarionov, who joins us live now. He's also a former Chief Economic Advisor to Vladimir Putin. Andrei, thank you so much for being with us. A lot of people are talking about the fact that this speech was notable more because of what Vladimir Putin didn't say versus what he actually did say. What are your thoughts on this speech?
Good to be with you. I think Matthew is right by saying that there was no basis actually to expect that in this particular speech Putin would make announcement for either new war or transformation of the so-called special military operation into real full-scale war, or for call for mass mobilization. Such speeches on the May 9th parade, it's not for this practical work. Those speeches are for making ideological statements. And this speech did serve this particular purpose. This is a very important ideological speech. And through this ideology, we can see at least three very important elements and components of the ideology. I would say ideology of Putinism. The first one is the announcement of new territorial claims to Ukraine. Putin discussed many names on the Ukrainian territory, cities and places, and the names of historical figures who, according to Putin, were fighting on our land, and this our land in the whole territory of Ukraine. So Putin was making very clear that he is making claims on the whole territory of Ukraine. Another element of this very notable speech is a very clear statement of the against Ukrainian ethnicity, Ukrainian language and Ukrainian culture. Why it is so? Because in the slang of Putin himself and his propaganda persons, Nazism became a synonym of Ukrainian. And that is why fight against Nazism or fight with Nazis, it means fight with Ukrainians. So he repeated it 6 times in his
Right,
speech,
he's made that the focus.
Which means that he's really, yes, so-called denazification for him, it means de-Ukrainization of Ukrainian nation. And the last very important point, element of this component of this speech is anti-Westernism, anti-Americanism, anti-NATOism. Never before, for 22 years of Putin's in power, he made such outrageous claims and attacks on the United States, on NATO, and the whole West.
Right, so you point out this idea that this speech was just to, explain and advance his ideologies. But so how did we get it so wrong? I mean, a lot of people going back to last week, the week before, were anticipating that there would be some kind of major announcement when it comes to this war, some kind of declaration of war, sort of, moving it away from this sort of special military operation to a full-blown declaration of war. How did we all get it so wrong?
I cannot comment on some mistakes made by some other people and experts and observers. But I think this ideological statement is very important. To some extent, it's even more important than proclamation of real war or mobilization, because mobilization could be temporal, war can finish. What Putin made right now, he proclaimed his ideology, which means that he's going to use all possible resources for all foreseeable future without any limitations to pursue those goals. So from this point of view, probably this even more important and more dangerous.
Stark warning there. Andrei Illarionov, thank you so much for being with us, former Chief Economic Advisor to Vladimir Putin.